Dear friends, it's the 1st of June, beginning of summer, official beginning of summer. Depending where you live, summer's probably already come a long time ago, or summer has yet to show up. I know from my experience living in Houston before that, summer shows up somewhere in mid-April. And it just gets hotter than hell. And wetter than hell, too. This is fire and dry, but Houston is wet, miserable from all the rain and the steam, but I digress. So anyways, what do we cover today? So many things to always cover. I don't do these videos often enough. I'm out on the circuit a lot these days and writing articles on the Russian political talk show circuit. So we got hit. Relatively, Moscow got hit by had about 32 drones fly in. 11 of them met their fate in trees. 19 got shot down or jammed. And the way the jamming system works, it doesn't just jam the signal, because that's not enough. It picks up the frequencies that are used by the drones to communicate, whether they're sending out signals and orienting themselves with LiDAR, or they're sending signals to satellites like GPS, and they're picking it up to orient themselves. And the jammer starts feeding them false coordinates and false altitudes. So it'll tell the drone that it's 3,000 meters too high. So a drone starts dropping altitude to get to the right altitude and winds up smacking into a field or into trees, and so on. Or it starts sending them in circles, and where possible just hacks them and brings them down in one piece. 3 drones hit buildings, and it was obvious that they hit buildings. I don't know about the other 2 buildings, but the one I saw the videos of, it clipped it, so it was probably flying too low. And these are constructor drones, so the bodies are Ukrainian wood. Motors are bought, in mass, different Chinese companies. They can be put into anything. And then I'm pretty damn sure for the ones that were taken down successfully, all the innards are going to be American components. Guarantee that. I haven't opened it up yet, but I guarantee you it'll be that. So we'll wait and see. More than likely, these were launched somewhere southwest of Moscow, Old Abandoned Airfield or something like that. So we've got quite enough terrorists that came across from Ukraine as refugees. They're popping up here and there, or workers that live here, who work here but support the Nazi regime. So whenever these guys are found, they usually get kicked out, and they should be kicked out right into the hands of the Ukrainian army, so they can get cycled right into the front and get turned into meat. They want it, they should get it. When the Russian army stepped back from Kherson, 2/3 of the population went across the river. The 1/3 that was left were the ones who were pro-Ukrainian. And all those guys that were waiting for Ukraine, guess where they all wound up? They all wound up being meat in Bakhmut. They got what they wanted. They got the Ukrainian rule. We'll get Kherson back. Just we won't have to worry about a 5th column, because the 5th column liquidated itself. Or got liquidated by its owners. And they all got sent off to Bakhmut, and they got the guys that got taken prisoner from Kherson were moaning how badly they were beaten by their fellow Ukrainians as possible collaborators, even though they waited and they did everything they could for Ukraine. That's what the satanic Nazi regime like this is. It eats its own constantly because it can't trust anyone. It's built on lies, so it assumes everybody's the same as it is, and most of them are. So yesterday, 2 days ago, there's been a lot of heavy hitting by the Ukrainians on civilian targets using American HIMARS, HIMAR-launched missiles. And considering those are Americans launching those HIMARS, they're contract or mercs, and American intelligence picking out targets, it's more war crimes by the U.S. There will be payback, of course, in all of this, one way or the other. The list of reparations that the U.S. is going to owe is gigantic. Then we've got Light in the Loafers, Graham, who quoted himself as the best money U.S. ever spent. Russians getting killed is the best money U.S. ever spent. Basically, Graham is the talking head trial balloon of the U.S. government. It doesn't matter which party sits in power. Graham is the quintessential deep state in all its merits. Chicken hawk that never wore a uniform, never risked his own pretty pearly little skin there. And I'm sure his partner massages for him. But he's happy to have other people dying for his causes. The usual neocon crap. And the neocons pretty much rule both parties in America. Not there's much difference between either party, truth be told. I mean, you're a dictatorship in the U.S. Dictatorship by the same clan of elites. But most of the people listening to this already figured it out. Now you've got tensions ramping up in Serbia, and I'm not going to say in Albanian Kosovo, because Kosovo is Serbian. Was Serbian, is Serbian, and we will help the Serbs free it again. Whether or not Vucic, who's a sellout, wants to be in the EU, is willing to do about anything, including give up the Serbs in Kosovo. The only thing is, Vucic knows what's going to happen if he moves too fast or too hard. He'll get shot by his own people, like his predecessor. So he's a little more tame. Doesn't get much of a choice, otherwise they would have sold the Serbs out a long time ago. Ugh, the leaders many countries have. And Germany's in a recession. Well, duh. You know, this is after the third recount of the numbers for last quarter and the quarter before. It only takes a genius to figure out where this is going to go. But after all, it's deindustrialization, degrowth, as the Greens put it. And people vote for these guys. They vote for having a miserable life. They vote for their kids having no future. Out of, I don't know, some kind of white guilt shit. White guilt should be Germany's guilt for World War II. That they quickly forgot about, under the Greens, by the way. Threw off and have decided to back Nazis again. Wow! Isn't that shocking? The Germans are backing Nazis. And at this point, being the Green Germans are backing Nazis. Ain't that something? Nazis, who, by the way, for those of you who still don't get it, National Socialist Workers' Party. Are there any questions? Hitler was an animal rights person. He was a vegetarian. Animal rights, in this case, equates humans with animals. And if you've got what might be considered an inadequate breed of humans, you breed that out. You know, everybody didn't fit the German, in that case, scientific, follow the science approach to genetics. Which, by the way, he picked up from America. What grew in America in the 1910s and 20s? The eugenics movement, which is still alive and well in the U.S. Just like Sawyer and Planned Parenthood. How did she get it pushed through in the supposedly Christian America? Easy. She promised that most of the Planned Parenthood would be in the minority districts, so that the minorities can exterminate themselves. Oh, she held her word. Most of them are. So yeah, where's the root of all this evil coming from? Let's think about that one. That's a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper than the PR that gets spun in the U.S. by various corporations that are making tons of money from all of this evil, including sterilizing your kids by convincing them that they're a different pole. By the way, there's a new law coming in Russia that's on its second reading. Yes, in our parliament, all laws have to be read 3 times, from first word to last word out loud before quorum of parliament. No 10,000-page omnibills that nobody has even read more than the 2-3 pages or 10 pages they shoved in for their lobbyists, if they even bother reading that. Yeah, but that's Western democracy. We have our version of democracy. It's not the correct version. It's where we actually read the laws that get passed. I know, radical, psychotic, uncivilized, but whatever. That's just how we roll. So anyways, new law that's going to just make the West despise us even more. Transgender operations are going to be illegal. Illegal. Period. Not just for minors, period. Because all that crap is a psychological disorder that has to be treated, not pandered to. And no chemical sterilization of children with hormone blockers. The only exception is people born with like hermaphrodites that are usually converted into women, because you got two sets of organs that are sterile anyways. It's a mutation. So for people born with such defects, it is illegal. That's right. You just continue sterilizing yourself into extinction and replacing the population with whatever third world you can pull in, and we'll just continue growing and living our lives. Once this war is over, it will be over sooner or later. There ain't going to be much of Europe left, either economically or possibly physically, depending just how stupid Europe gets. So we'll see. But anyways, those are the topics in the news at the moment. I'm sure there'll be more, and there already usually is. And God bless. See you next time.